guys? Dylan with Conventional Dudes, back with this week's video. So we'll get right into it. Today's Bible verse is going to be Psalm 144:1. Blessed be the Lord my strength, who teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight. I think I've already used that one once, but it's one of my favorite verses, so I just like, spreading that one around. I think that one's solid. Today is going to be a little bit different than what we've been doing. It's not going to be like a gear breakdown or anything. Conventional dude thing was faith, fire, and function. So this is going to go more into the function thing. And this is going to be just kind of a culmination of things that I've learned throughout like my military career, and just like from friends and friends that were like personal trainers and stuff, or went to school for this type of thing. And this is just going to be a very basic thing on how to like start, make a training program. Sorry guys, I got a fly in here or something that's hiding the crap out of me. What are you, bro? A horsefly or something. All right, so first thing, gonna pick a goal. And I just have three broad categories here. There's a ton more categories in this, but these are just three simple ones: strength, endurance, size. That's not to say that you cannot do strength and size, strength and endurance, strength, size, and endurance. But you just need to understand that if you're doing more than one of these, you're not going to develop that specific thing as quickly. And that's fair. So like for me, I typically do some strength work, some endurance work, and some like hypertrophy work for size. And it's, it's worked out. It's just not, you're not going to get as strong as if you're just focusing on strength, or you're not going to get as fast and as enduring as if you're just focusing on endurance. So keep that in mind. Days available. It could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. Think about your days available. Split. There's more splits than this, but these are just some very kind of more popular ones. So bro split, that's going to be, golly guys, this thing's killing me. Bro split's going to be like chest, back, legs, shoulders, arms. It's going to be kind of one day dedicated to each of those body parts, which can be good, can give you some time to like focus on that thing. But for some people, it might not be like the optimal frequency. So that's where some of these other plans can come into play. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and just from my experience, frequency is going to matter less than just consistency and intensity. So basically just showing up consistently and then working harder than last time, or doing your best to go harder than last time. That's going to be better than trying to find like the optimal plan. But still go over these. So PPL, that's push-pull legs. So basically a push day, it's going to be like chest, shoulders, triceps. Pull day is going to be your back exercises. So like rowing variations, pull-ups. Some people put their deadlifts there. And then legs can be all leg work. Some people put their deadlifts on the leg day. It just kind of depends on what they're doing. Upper lower, pretty athletic type split, but it's going to be 2 upper days where you will do like chest, back, shoulders, arms, stuff like that. And then lower body, obviously, that's a lot of people will do their deads on that day as well. And deads and squats will be on a lower body day. And then a personal favorite of mine is full body. It's not to say that you have to go into the gym on that day and do like chest, back, shoulders, legs, abs, calves, triceps, biceps, forearms. Like you don't have to work every part of your body. On a full body day, like for me, it would be some sort of heavy pushing movement, a heavy press, a heavy pull, a hinge, like a deadlift or a Romanian deadlift or something of that sort. And then probably some kind of core exercise, more than likely, and then a squat or a leg variation, like it could be a lunge, back squat, front squat, could be like a step up, something like that, some sort of loaded leg movement. All right, so this is like the main things you need to think about. Now we're going to go into some staple lifts, which, take this off of here. And we're going to put that, we'll put it under accessories. That fits more there. I will explain this kind of differentiation as we go. Okay, so Staple lifts. These are going to be like your meat and potatoes. If I was making a kind of minimalist plan where I just had to go in and get as much as I could done in the least amount of time, I would be focusing on these big lifts right here. All right, so bench and incline bench. You can alternate these back and forth on days, whatever you want to do, but these are like big forward chest pressing movements. Bench and incline bench. This could be dumbbell or barbell. I'm not throwing that differentiation in there. Just a great way to develop some like pressing power, you know, that kind of like get away from me power, but also just a good way to add size to your chest. And also you're getting tricep work as well, depending on where you have your hands. So then we go into squats. It's going to be like the main movement for your legs. Could be back squat, front squat. If you have injuries you need to work around, could do something like a belt squat. So we're still loading the legs with a good amount of weight, but it's going to be more loaded on the hips instead of on our back. So it could be something like that. Deadlift. Deadlift kind of gets a bad rap sometimes. I know with some hypertrophy plans, you know, you'll hear the deadlift is not necessary, and I think to develop a good physique, deadlift is not necessary. But I think for me, functionally, it's a very good exercise, one of my favorites personally. But you know, because you think about all the other large exercises like overhead press, squat, a lot of those movements, I don't necessarily do that exact movement in my day-to-day life. Like I don't put, you know, 300 pounds on my back and then have to do this with it. But there are a lot of times where I have to bend down and pick something up that's like 150, maybe 200 pounds, you know, kind of squat and then pick it up. That happens all the time. So I really train the deadlift a lot. And as long as you're doing it safely and with proper form, you're negating a lot of the injury risk. Just don't be dumb. OHP, overhead press, this is going to be your main shoulder builder right here in these staple lifts. So that's just taking a barbell or dumbbells or something like that and coming up overhead, just like that. That's OHP. Bent over row. So bent over row is going to be barbell or dumbbell. You're going to bend at the waist and then row it up. And guys, I'll do videos talking about, you know, like form and stuff on these, or you can just look it up on YouTube. There's a ton of videos talking about form on these. But bent over row is going to be good to give you that, like, it's going to be good to build the thickness in your back, and then you're going to kind of two-piece that with pull-ups. Start at assisted pull-ups, or if you can do bodyweight pull-ups, start at bodyweight, and then once you can do probably 15 bodyweight pull-ups in a set, or maybe you could do a little less than that, we'll go into weighted pull-ups. And so those pull-ups, though, that's, like I said, the rows are going to give you the thickness in your back, but the pull-ups are going to give you the width, like the width in your lats. And it's also going to be good arm work, too. All right, so that's kind of our meat and potatoes things here. Some people would add other stuff to it, but for me, this is going to be enough if it was like a minimalist program. Accessory lifts. So we're going to go into a few of these. So curl variations, yeah, straight curls, straight bar curls, easy bar curls, hammer curls. Just pick one, pick a variation, and stick with it for a while. And that's going to be my best advice for developing really any of these lifts. Pick a variation of curl and stick with it for a while. Maybe stick with it for, I'd say at least somewhere between 8 and 12 weeks. And try it out, try to add weight, add sets, and get stronger at it, and you will see growth as long as you're eating right. Skull crushers and rollbacks. So skull crusher is going to be just like an easy bar or dumbbells, just kind of past your ears like this. That's going to hit your tricep here. And then a rollback is kind of an extension of a skull crusher if you want to think of it that way. But rollback, you're going to have your dumbbells and you're going to come past and you're going to roll those arms back and then bring them forward and then press. Those are the two best tricep builders that I've used other than using bench. And then, so this is going to be some ab work, some core work, leg raises and weighted sit-ups. Those could be hanging leg raises, seated leg raises. You could just like lay on your back and do regular leg lifts. It's just good to work like your full core and your hip flexors. And then weighted sit-ups. I like doing weighted ab exercises because I think in my mind I'm developing my abs just like any other muscle, where I'm trying to get them bigger so that when I do lean out and I show them, they are bigger. If that makes sense. And then some extra shoulder work here. We have like front raises, lateral raises. Usually dumbbell, usually light. If you're at a commercial gym, you could probably use cables too to get that constant tension. But all right, saw something out there. But again, that's just going to be like dumbbells out to here. That's going to be good for like the rounding of your shoulders and just building some like, it's an accessory movement because it's making your shoulders look aesthetically better. Your main strength is still going to come from this OHP in your shoulders. And then trap work. So traps, it's going to look like shrugs mainly, heavy carries, and then also in your overhead press, when you're pressing, if you come up to the top, treat this like a window and put your head through that window and you're going to blow up your traps. It really does work. It's kind of a little tip I got from a trainer a few years back. So that's our main accessory lifts, and then so these, call these shotgun lifts because I think they kind of ride shotgun in the car to the rest of this stuff. They can get overlooked a lot. So forearm and grip work can literally save your life. But also, like, you know, when you have a, you know, if you're at church, or say you're a dude that has a daughter and you got to meet her boyfriend, you know, you want that strong, real strong handshake. You know, you want to be able to like break bricks with your hand. So forearm work, you can do like wrist curls, wrist extensions, and then grip work. Typically what I do for grip work, I'll walk over here. My actual like strength grip work, I have a full set of these Captains of Crush grippers, and they're just regular grip squeezers. But when you get them from Captains of Crush, they have them in different weights, all the way up to like, I think it's like 360 pounds, which I can't even touch. It's crazy. All right, so now we go down to neck work. I think neck work is more important than people give it credit for, just because like having a thick neck is like a very good sign of athleticism in general, but also it can help protect your head. It's been shown that people that have a stronger and more robust neck are less likely to get like whiplash and TBIs and car accidents and stuff like that. Or if you get hit in the face, like boxers usually do a lot of neck training because their head's getting, you know, pummeled all the time. For neck work though, you're looking here, like neck extensions. You can also lay off a bench and put a plate on your head and do like a neck curl variation to hit this. You can hang a plate off the side, do side curls on both sides. Big reason that I started doing neck work, and this might apply for some of you out there, I started wearing helmets when I was in the military. You know, your helmet has like, well, I was wearing like a large or an extra large at the time helmet, so that was pretty heavy, and like you put night vision on it, you put a battery pack on it, you put ear pro on it, you put all this stuff on your helmet, you know, counterweight for the night vision. You end up with a helmet that weighs like 10 pounds. And if you're not used to having 10 pounds on your little noodle neck, it can really wear you out. You know, you take your helmet off and you're like, goodness, you know, I feel like I can't move my head. So training my neck really helped me get past that and really helped me strengthen that. And then, you know, now I can wear a helmet for hours. I know it doesn't really, you know, affect me as much. And then calf work. Calves are one of those things that you just kind of got to hit them hard and a lot. Your calves are pretty resistant to being worked because you're using them all the time. I mean, you're walking on them, jumping on them, sprinting on them, like you're always on your calves. So my staple work for calves is just like running up hills, rucking, and then just like weighted barbell calf raises. That's what I do for calves, and it's worked, but it's taken a long time to see any progress. So don't get discouraged if you don't, you know, if you don't see your calves blow up. All right, so let's talk about this one last thing here, cardio. So cardio is something that I think is necessary in your workout plan. It's good for like your cardiovascular health. Obviously that's what cardio is cardiovascular work. So good for your heart, good for your lungs. I think it's good to have a bigger gas tank, and honestly having a bigger gas tank will help you be better at these weightlifting exercises so you won't get out of breath on bigger, longer sets, stuff like that. But for cardio, like, it doesn't always have to be high intensity. You need to like throw in a little high intensity, some low intensity, and like some medium intensity, like general preparedness stuff, general physical preparedness stuff. And that could be like just getting on the assault bike and hammering it, getting on the assault bike and doing some long, slow, sustained. You could do rucking, weighted walks, jogging, running. You know, there's so many kinds of cardio, guys. In my little shed gym here, I just have an assault bike as my cardio because it doesn't take up that much space, and you can get on it and you can do a lot with it, and it's kind of like a full body burner no matter what, and it doesn't matter how strong or fit you are, the assault bike is always terrible, so that's why I like it. See, you can also throw in some like, you know, CrossFit workout of the day type stuff every now and again, like some metabolic conditioning work from CrossFit. I think if anything else, those Metcon type workouts are just good at like building your supply of grit, because they're just hard. You know, they're just hard. But I think it's good to do hard stuff every now and then. But so the main thing with all of this that I want you guys to take away is when you think about like, how am I measuring my progress in the gym? It's going to be progressive overload. So you're going to add weight, maybe not every time, especially if you're like an intermediate or an advanced guy. You're not going to be able to add weight every time. It's just how it is. But even if you're just adding a rep or adding another set, you want to, you know, try to increase it as much as you can, but don't get discouraged if you can't for a little while. That's just part of the game. You won't always be able to go up. When you're a beginner, you can like a rocket. You can add like 5 pounds to all your lifts every time for a while, but then you will eventually hit a wall. So, say all that to say this: pick a goal, even if it's a mix of them. Just accept that you're not going to be able to develop all of them as quickly as if you just picked one, but that's okay. Your realistic days available, your split, and then again, main lifts, accessory lifts, and then kind of some side stuff you could do on like off days. You don't necessarily need to do this on your lifting days. You could do like forearm and grip work, like sitting at a desk in your office if you buy a good grip squeezer. You don't have to do it at the gym. And then the big thing, guys, is just go harder than you did last time. If you keep showing up and you go harder than you did last time, you will see gains. You'll lose weight, you'll put on muscle, you'll get stronger. Like whatever you set that goal to, you know, diet in line with that, you will reach that goal as long as you're consistent, you have some discipline and some intensity, and you'll be fine. If you like this video, guys, let me know in the comments. I know it's kind of off, you know, the trail from what we usually are doing, but I just kind of wanted to break off and talk about this stuff too, because it is a big part of my life and I do enjoy doing this stuff. But I think that's all I have. If you guys have any questions, ask them in the comments. I appreciate all the support. We're at like 1,050 subscribers now. That's awesome. I really appreciate it, guys, and I'll see you soon.